Thank you, Chair, for your kind introduction. As introduced, I'm going to present you the phase 1 clinical trial results of subcutaneous administered factor 9 variants. I have no disclosures. And this trial, I'd like to cover it is304 in this presentation. It's a factor 9 modified with 3-point mutations. These two mutations was expected to increase the procoagulant activity of factor 9, and the last mutation was expected to decrease the factor 9 and binding to antithrombin 3. This site is the same site of Padua mutation, but the changed amino acid is different. In animal study of hemophilia B mice, this drug showed 20-fold potency advantage over wild-type factor 9, which allows this drug could be delivered subcutaneously because the volume of injection was expected to be markedly decreased. In a final animal study of hemophilia B dogs, a single dose of subcutaneous injection of is304 showed again the 22-fold potency advantage, and also showed the extended half-life of 155 hours and 10.3% of bioavailability. In the following daily subcutaneous dosing of 300 units per kilogram of is304 showed steady-state activity increase sufficient to correct the severe hemophilia B to mild hemophilia B after 4 daily injections. And after that, in fact, activity was progressively increased to up to 50% with subsequent dosing. There were no emergent clinical events or developmental chemistry. Based on this optimistic animal study results, we designed the phase 1 study for human. As you can see here, this study consisted of serial 4 cohorts in cohorts 1, and Benefix and is304 was delivered intravenously with equal dose of 75 units per kilogram, and we compared the pharmacokinetics. And the next cohort, is304 was given intravenously and then subcutaneously with equal dose of 75 units per kilogram, and compared the pharmacokinetics. In cohort 3, the is304 subcutaneous dose was increased to 100 units per kilogram, and observed PKs and safety. And the final cohort 4, 6 subcutaneous daily dose of 150 units per kilogram is304 was given to the 5 patients, and we observed the increase of factor 9 activity and safety. 12 Korean PDBs with severe hemophilia B over 12 years old were participated in this study. I'd like to give special thanks for the patient who participated in this study. The patient participated in cohort 1 and cohort 2. And now I present you to the results of the cohort 1-4. As you can see here, intravenous administered Benefix and is304 showed similar pharmacokinetics, but factor 9 activity decrease was slower in is304. Consequently, the half-life was slightly longer. It was 29 hours in is304 and 24 hours in Benefix. Mean injection volume of is304 was markedly decreased to 0.66 milliliters, which was 42 times less than the injection volume of Benefix. It was 27 milliliters. In cohort 2, E304 was delivered intravenously and then subcutaneously. Compared with IV dose, a single dose E304 showed a lower Cmax of 5.3%, but longer half-life of 80 hours, which was over twofold increase. And the bioavailability of showed 25.9%. In code 3, the dose, subcutaneous dose was escalated to the 150 units per kilogram, but the pharmacokinetics showed that very similar to the result of the code 2. The Cmax was 5.27%, and the half-life was 85 hours, and bioavailability was 23.5%, but AUC was increased. In final code 4, 115 units per kilogram of E304 was delivered subcutaneously for 6 consecutive days. As we can see here, the effect activity was progressively increased up to 12 to 18% in 5 patients at day 6 after first dose. And the mean maximal effect activity was 15.3%, and this level could be maintained when the daily dosing continue. And this level is far over the lowest level of mild hemophilia B. This slide shows the PK values of code 4. The Cmax was 15.34 and half-life was 65 hours. And I would like to show the safe data of the code 1.4. Just one subject experienced generalized symptoms of fatigue, headache, and dizziness, and all the other adverse events were observed in the injection site. Erythema pain and also redness were observed in 6, 5, and 3 patients respectively, and all of these adverse events were mild and resolved without any sequelae in treatment. The dimers were transiently elevated only after subcutaneous delivery in code 2.4 without any changes of thrombin and antithrombin complex level and fragment 1 level. It suggested that it was likely caused by the local effect due to subcutaneous injection. And now I would like to say about the immunogenicity of this drug. No neutralizing antibodies were detected to E304 and benefits during the study periods. However, 3 anti-purine antibodies directed to the purine proteins contained in the final product of E304 were developed in 3 subjects, and the antibody was not directed to the factor 9, so the response of the factor 9 product of the patients were not changed, and the titer is not decreasing. And I'd like to summarize all the results of code 1.4, and additionally, I'd like to give some perspectives of this drug. First, intravenous delivered E304 showed similar PK to benefits and showed 22-fold potency advantage, and which allowed this drug to be delivered subcutaneously. And in final code 4, daily subcutaneous dosing of 115 units per kilogram of E304 for 6 consecutive days resulted in a mean effect activity of 15.34%, and far over the lowest level of the mild hemophilia. And as I mentioned, it could be maintained when daily dosing can be continued. Based on these results, I'd like to say to you that subcutaneous dosing of E304 may provide superior prophylaxis to, I believe, extended half-life agents, because this drug could be easily injected, and high drug level of mild hemophilia B could be achieved by this subcutaneous injection. And before wrapping up my presentation, I'd like to say one more additional possible advantages over other developing subcutaneous drugs. The monitoring of this drug is easy, just measuring factor 9 activity. And when the breathing occurs, you could control the breathing without change of drugs. And thank you for listening. And I again would like to give special thanks for the participation. I respect their courage and also enthusiasm to overcome this disease. Thank you for listening.
So this is now open for questions. We have a few moments. There's 4 microphones if you would like to come up. Maybe I could start. The D-dimer that you saw in cohorts 2 to 4, what do you think was the cause of that?
Because I already showed that there were no accompanied elevations of thrombin and antithrombin levels, and also the 512 level in this study. So by way of supposedly to think that it might be caused by local trauma of injection. It's very transient. Yeah.
Yes, Jerry.
Jerry Tiger from Toronto. Maybe I misunderstood, but I think cohort 1 was intravenous administration. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a gain of function variant, and yet it showed the same PK as benefits. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh yeah, but the advantage of this drug is that reduce the volume. Because we gave the same activity of drugs given intravenously.
But the dosage was the same in units per kilo?
No, the dose was, the volume of it, the potency was same, but the volume of the injection was much decreased, 42 times less than the conventional drug.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing good data. And I'm just concerned in the immunogenicity risk of the recombinant factor IX develop. So, you introduce 3 mutation, not only the Padua mutation, but also other 2 sites. And what do you think the immunogenicity risk of the factor IX?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't do any mutation studies in this patient. Yeah, thank you.
And I've got one more question. If you were to be at steady state with the drug and the patient had a breakthrough bleed, would you be able to treat the acute bleed with the drug, or would levels not go sufficiently high?
Yeah. So I really stressed that this drug's advantage is to use prophylaxis subcutaneously and to use intravenously to control the breeze. Yeah. And also the one more advantage is we could know the level of the hemostasis by simply checking the factor 9 activity.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Yu. Our next speaker